It happened in December 1963 when I was 8 years old. And for reasons you understand as you hear the story, I know the exact date and time that I received that good news. But the story behind it starts 3 years earlier when I was 5, and my older brother took me to see the movie Old Yeller. And any of you that saw Old Yeller will know that a 5-year-old kid, when you come out of Old Yeller, my immediate reaction was, I need a big yellow dog. And so I went home and told my parents, hey, Mom and Dad, I need a big yellow dog. And they said, no, no, no. Our backyard is not big enough. You're not old enough to take the responsibility for a big dog. We're not going to do that. I said, okay. I know who's really in charge here. So I sat down and started writing my letter to Santa Claus. And I said, dear Santa Claus, please bring me a big yellow dog. So I went to bed on Christmas Eve. I got up the next morning, no big yellow dog. And I got all kinds of explanations from parents and others that, well, maybe Santa Claus didn't have any big yellow dogs this year, or maybe he didn't understand what kind of dog you wanted because big yellow may not be descriptive enough. And I thought, okay, I'll get with the program. And then my mom added, and maybe you weren't quite good enough to deserve a dog. I thought, well, that's not true. I was excellent all year. But anyway, I resolved that I would have a spotless record the following year. And I did. And during that year, I also saw another Disney movie. 101 Dalmatians happened to come out that year. And so I immediately knew that's the kind of dog I need. I need a Dalmatian. So I wrote to Santa Claus again. I bypassed my parents. I considered them a lost cause. I wrote to Santa Claus and I said, please bring me a Dalmatian. Now this time, he did better, but on Christmas morning there was still no live Dalmatian. There was a stuffed Dalmatian under the Christmas tree. And I thought, oh no, he got that wrong. So, but I loved Pongo, my stuffed Dalmatian, and I slept with him every night in bed, but I still harbored the desire for a real dog. So the next year, I was getting older. I was 7 by this time. My Aunt Ginny was the local librarian. I went to Aunt Ginny and I said, do you have a big book here in the library on dogs that I could do some research? Yeah, I'll help you with that. So she got me the big dog book and I looked through it. And I saw that the most numerous breed in America were Labrador Retrievers. And not only that, there were 3 colors, black, yellow, and chocolate. And I thought, well, I'm going to make this easy for Santa Claus. Dear Santa Claus, I want a Labrador Retriever, and I don't care which color. But I don't want a stuffed one, I want a real one. So I thought, this time I've got it completely covered. Again, I had a spotless record of behavior for the year. Went to bed on Christmas Eve, got up in the morning, no dog, no explanation. I was like, this is getting a little worrisome. Not only that, I had people at school and in the neighborhood telling me some terrible rumors about Santa Claus. Like maybe he doesn't even exist. I can't fathom that. They said maybe it's just your parents that bring you those things, and I thought, oh, if that's the case, I'm in trouble. These people don't want a dog. I don't know. So as we got on toward my 8-year Christmas, I decided to take a much more direct and pleading approach with Santa Claus, and I wrote the letter and I said, dear Santa Claus, please bring me a dog. I don't care what kind of dog it is, as long as it's living and is a dog, I would love to have it. And I will treat it well, and I will do everything that needs to be done. So I went to bed that year on Christmas Eve, and my sister was 9 years older than me. So I was in 3rd grade. My sister was a senior in high school. She had friends, and they had gone to midnight mass together. And she brought her friends to our house to have breakfast after midnight mass. And I was still awake up in my bed, and I could hear these teenage girls laughing and giggling and talking. And it was 2 o'clock in the morning, according to the clock on my dresser. And I thought, this is not good. These girls are in the living room. Santa Claus got to come down the chimney. He's not going to come down the chimney when there's girls in there. I'm thinking, we got to get them out of here. But I had no power to do that. It had been I'd been told quite strictly that I was not allowed to go downstairs until 6 a.m. So, hearing the bell, I'll tell you quite quickly that at about 2:30, I heard my dad downstairs. And I heard him asking for help with a box. And I heard the box getting moved around. And then I heard these girls start to talk in baby talk. And I heard the word puppy. I have a hard time getting through this one. But I then started to hear these light little puppy yips. And that was the most wonderful moment of good news I can remember. So I know that for sure that it happened on December 25th, 1963, at approximately 2:30 a.m. And then I had the torture of laying there for 3.5 hours, listening to the puppy yipping, knowing I couldn't go down until 6. But when I went down, I picked up this beautiful little black puppy who was about as big as Sumo, maybe a little bit bigger. And she was delighted to see me, licked my face, wagged her tail, and I named her Candy. She was my inseparable companion for 15 years. And that remains probably the best good news I've ever had. Thank you.